You did that claims review. You found that reserve that was out of whack. You fixed it, and the impact on the business was $15,000 worth of premium or something. And so then you can actually monetize the impact. Have you used that part of it at all?
And learning that, I'm really taking a lot of time to serve. It's just part of my book, right? So I jettisoned all that. So I was down to like 600, right? And then I started to build in 18. And by 21, my book was about 1.4 million.
So you doubled it in 3 years.
Yep. I would almost rather have five $200,000 accounts than $1 million account.
So let's back the story up. Let's talk about Steve Carter. I don't remember when we first started working together or when you first came to the Wedge Workshop. I just remember it was in Dallas.
So that was 2018. And you had been sending me emails for a solid 3 years. So I had an idea of what the Wedge was. And believe it or not, my brokerage would not pay the money for me to go to Dallas. So I paid the money. I said, you know what, I'm going to go. I'm going to put up the money, I'm going to go. And I did go. And once I did that, obviously, Greg started talking to you. And it's like everybody bought into it, right? So, I showed up, and I don't even remember what month it was, Randy. I think it was the fall of 2018. But yeah. And the funny thing is that I had a lot of systems in place prior to working with you, and I was doing a lot of the things I'm still doing, but it was all about, you had more of a systematic approach, right? That kind of led the prospect right down to getting the B of R. I was writing a lot of stuff on B of R anyways, and I continue to do it, but for me, it just opened up a lot more doors, and it allowed, it's the wedge, right? Allowed me to create that wedge more frequently and a lot more easily than I was doing on my own.
Interesting. So how much has it impacted your book? Very much? I mean, I got a feeling, I think you've had some pretty serious growth from what...
Yeah, so when I came to see you, believe it or not, my book is about 700, right, I think. What happened was, in looking at what you were teaching, I had to roll my book back because I had to get rid of a lot of business that was really small. I mean, it had quite a few accounts that had $2,500 in revenue, $5,000 in revenue, and under, right? A lot of it. And learning that, I'm really taking a lot of time to serve. It's just part of my book, right? So I jettisoned all that. So I was down to like 600, right? And then I started to build in 18. And by 21, my book was about 1.4 million.
So you doubled it in 3 years.
Yep. Yeah. And I'd written, and I didn't come to work for where I'm at. I started for High Ground in 14. So in 7 years, I wrote all of that. Yeah, after I came to Dallas, it was a game changer. And I really didn't know what to expect. But like I said, I'd read the book, I'd read the emails, and it's like, why not do it, right? I mean, if you're going to invest in yourself, and again, if you're not a student of this business in any aspect, you're never going to win in this business. And being a student of yours, being a student to learn about, policies, coverages, all of it, right? It's just constant learning. And if you're not a diligent student of this business in all aspects, I mean, you're just selling yourself short, right? You really are. So, I'm sitting here in my condo in the desert, my second home. I got a home at the beach, home in the desert. I got a grip of rentals. I'm in a good spot, right? And a lot of it's because I got to that next level, right? To where I was putting more money away, and I'm like, hey, you know what? We got money. It's time to go buy a condo out in the desert. No problem. Here you go, right? So it made a lot of that possible.
Awesome. Let's talk about some of what your daily habits. I remember we were on one call one time, and I think you get up in the morning or you get started at 5 a.m. or some early period of time. You're pretty focused. You get things knocked out. Talk about what your day looks like.
So my day looks like this. I'm up at 4:45. I've got everything in the car ready to go. I shower, I shave, I do a little devotion. I'm in the car by 5:15. I'm in the office by 5:45. I'm at my desk working. So in the morning, and my days are all planned out and calendared ahead of time. So I know what I'm going to do the next day. But in the morning, I'll do a little reading on, I might look at additional insured endorsements. I might look at some aspect of general liability. I'll spend 20 or 30 minutes on that. Then I'm working on and managing claims and returning calls on that. And the idea is that I want to get my calendar taken care of, phone calls and things like that, before 8 o'clock. When 8 o'clock comes, I've got a list of calls for that day, usually 15 to 20 calls I'm going to make, scheduled calls from emails I sent last week. So I'm going to make those 15 or 20 calls, and I don't let anybody bother me during that time. That goes from 8:30 to about 10, right? I stop at 10, I'll just go for a little walk, then I'll come back. There's always things coming at me in the office. I'm a principal of the agency, so people need things from me. So then I'm taking on questions and inquiries and things like that from about 10 to 11. 11 o'clock I have lunch. And then from 11 to 2:30 I'm doing nothing but calling off the lead list that I've been out visiting people. Every Tuesday I'm out visiting. I see 15 to 20 businesses every Tuesday. It's targeted, not random, right? People that I want to call on, manufacturers with high mods, contractors that I can sell programs to, wholesalers, nurseries, and things like that. That's what I'm calling on. So I'm calling that everybody that I've seen in the last week, 2 weeks. So I continue to follow that through, and that's really what my day's like. It's a lot of prospecting, and even with my book where it is, because we all know that if you're going to get a big book and sit there and rest, it's going to leave you because business leaves you. I lost about $100,000 in revenue in the last 2 years, not off anything I did. It was off people selling. 2 of my big clients just sold. And they don't tell you that they're working on selling the business. You get the phone call when it's closed and they say, "Hey Steve, we've sold the business," and and you don't always get hired. You don't. Typically the new people have got their people and you're done. So again, my belief is that, yes, you can say you've made it in this business, but I don't think you can ever get real comfortable. I think you can enjoy your life. But like I'm out here today and I'm just fielding some emails. I'm talking with you. I might work till about 11 o'clock last night to get things done, so I don't have to think about things today, right? I think you need to be constantly trying to look at new ways to get business. With all this AI and stuff, and I'm waiting for you to come up with some more stuff on that. And I'm sure you will.
Yeah, we will.
There's got to be, because I'm thinking right now, when I got into this business and I was making phone calls to people saying, "What's your expiration date?" So I could set that and call back to see if I could quote, right? But even then I'm thinking, there's got to be a better way to do this.
Yeah.
There's got to be a different way to sell value and benefits. And I've learned those ways, And I had good teachers along the way. My mentor, Chris, who passed away, he was a great teacher, but I was also a voracious student. And I continue to be that. So yeah, the people that, and I was telling you before, every Saturday, I put in 4 hours every Saturday. I get up in the morning and I go surf. I take care of the lawn in the house. I may be out here. Like this morning, we went out and played 15 holes of golf. I was up early, did a little bit of work, got in the golf cart in the garage, went out and played some golf, and back here doing work. But typically every Saturday, I'm going to work 4 hours to get organized and ahead for Monday. So when I get to work Monday, a lot of the busy stuff's done, and I can focus on what I want to do, which is grow my book.
All right, so I want to back up a little bit. You said that when you get up early in the morning, you shower and shave and then do a devotion. Tell me about that.
I am not a religious man, but I'm a spiritual person, and I believe that for myself, to have conscious contact with some type of higher power or spirit and ask for guidance throughout the day, ask for patience, tolerance, and love in situations, because in this business, it's real difficult to lose that, And in this business, what my mentor always told me, he says, we get paid to deliver bad news. Oh, by the way, you're, like with property and the way it's been in auto. Hey, by the way, your auto's going up from 100 to 200 grand this year. Stuff like that. So, I want to be in touch with that higher power and that spirit every day and be grateful. Always be grateful for what I have, even when I was coming up, it's like I'm sitting here, I got a buddy out here sitting outside my door of my house. He's been my best friend since we were little. He's dying of leukemia. But he's here with me. Right, and we're playing golf today, and he's fighting through. Right, I've known him since we were 8 years old. We're buddies, surf together. He's been living in Hawaii 30 years. And when I went to Hawaii after I was a senior in high school, I called him on the phone. I said, "Hey, what are you doing in California? Get over here and surf." And he came and never left. So he's still there, but he's dying of leukemia right now. But he's getting ready for a bone marrow transplant. So again, I can look at things like that. I can be of service to other people, and I can be grateful for what I got. And even when the chips seem down for me, I can always look at it and go, hey, you know what? I got a lot today. And so I think if you can stay grateful, you stay in touch with whatever your choice of spirit is. You know what I mean? Whatever religion it is. But I think it's important to stay in touch with the universe and express your wants, express the things you want to do. And again, just try to be calm and be good to other people. And I don't always achieve that.
Yeah, I mean, there's only a few people on the planet that ever have.
Yeah. So I mean, but yeah. So patience and tolerance is the word of the day, and diligence, and give me the drive to follow through on this stuff and not to get tired.
Nice. Do you use Bignition, the technology?
I do. I use Bignition for a lot of just blanket emailing, which you've seen some of mine. You've commented, but they go out a couple times a month. I use it for prospecting. I would like to use it more, and I need to tune more into that technology because I've been seeing things from your daughters coming over that I think is useful. But I think it's a great platform. I think it's well thought out. And truthfully, like I said, I mean, I can always learn more stuff. I need to be better at that.
Yeah. So are you using it? Are you doing written service timelines for your best clients?
Yeah, yeah, and I was doing that again, but I use your format now. I was
Yeah.
doing it in a different format always. As a matter of fact, what I would do is when I would go in and do my thing with claims or coverage or whatever, then I would go to a presentation to get that B of R. I would sit there with a service timeline and go, look, here's what I'm going to do for you for the next year. And I kind of had it on a Word document, right? And there was no color on it. It was just my logo at the top, and I had black and white squares. But yes, I 100% use the service timeline. Yeah.
Is it easier for you dragging and dropping doing it out of Bignition than what it was before, or is it easier to Yeah.
100% because you can reuse a lot of the stuff annually, right? It's really, I really like that.
And are one of the cool things that a couple of clients are doing is, as you have that service timeline out there and then you do those things, every element that you do might take an hour, maybe it takes 2 hours. So you can value the amount of time, just like a lawyer would. But then the secondary piece is you did that claims review, you found that reserve that was out of whack, you fixed it, and the impact on the business was $15,000 worth of premium or something. And so then you can actually monetize the impact. Have you used that part of it at all?
Yes, for sure. Because every year, with most of my clients, or I would say a good number of them, I'm forecasting X mod 6 months prior to the renewal. So I'm looking for, I want to tell the CEO, CFO, controller, office manager, owner, where they can expect to be come the renewal. Okay. I want to show them that, we're doing the math up front, because if you're not doing the math up front, how do you know it's right? I mean, you look at your credit card every day, don't you? Because you don't know who's going to go spend money on it, right? You look at your bank account all the time, right? Well, this is very much the same thing. So, and the third piece to that is, you just said it, like getting revisions and getting reconstructing calculations, but on the front end, seeing where that's at well before the renewal, right? So yes, I'll go through it. I mean, I just sent out an email Friday. I forecast the guy's mod to be 136, and I had a co-defended claim between two carriers. One ICW had 90, and CompWest had 10%. So I went to CompWest and I said, you need to revise your Unistat filing for the 2022 year. And they said, well, we don't think we're going to do it until after the mod publishes, right? And I said, well, great, no problem. I'm tracking that. And so the mod publishes at 129. And when I see it published at 129, I know why it published at 129. So I meet with a client for lunch, right? And I said, look, so let me show you my forecast at 135. And let me show you this, your actual published mod at 129. And let me show you this claim here for this lady's name is Beatrice something or another. I got it taken off because the pro-rata share was 10%. So really they had like a month on it. Maybe it was less than that, right? But it was so low that they removed $20,000 in reserves and got you 6 points. So you're below 130. It's a big difference when you're doing $400,000 in premium, right?
Yeah.
So yes, always tracking and looking at that.
And so let's just finish that example out. So that if you reduce the mod by 6 points and it's on $400,000 of premium, how many real dollars impact was that for them?
It's probably somewhere between 15 and 25 grand.
Yeah. So I'm going to ask you my question again. Once you've done all that stuff in Bignition, you can go to the last page, update the. I spent 2 hours doing it. I reduced the mod from 135 to 129, and that is worth just my labor. If I was a lawyer, I would have charged $1,000 for those 2 hours worth of work. But because I did the work, it had a $15,000 impact on your business. And so if you take all those things and those impacts, at the end of the year, it's almost like an invoice going, I did this much work, my work was worth this much, but the impact it had on your business was $42,000. and you can show that and put that in the form of an invoice. That Bignition will do that for you.
Oh, really? See, I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
yeah. By the way you were talking, I could tell that maybe we missed that point. But yeah, it's really cool. So let's do this. Let's set up a call here soon, and get. I mean, anybody else in your shop that you think that you would care about this. But and let's see if we can get them going, because it's huge. Because now, this client of yours, you get to monetize your work. You get to show them the impact you're having on their business. Then it rolls into your SODAR to get your red hot introduction. And it becomes so much more powerful of a story, right?
Well, give me some dates on that, and let's do it.
Just like you and all of us, I mean, we're always prospecting, trying to find new accounts. And there's, it's kind of a unique bird or agency that would, it's terrible marketing when you say, hey, working with me is hard work. You'll make a lot of money doing it, because everybody's always looking for the easy button where they don't have to do any work. But talk about, has this thing had an impact on y'all's agency very much, or is it mostly just you?
The thing is that yes and no. I mean, Greg hasn't done the training, but he's done well. Jeff hasn't done the training, but he's done well, and a couple of my other guys haven't done the training. But I mean, we're always growing and doing well, but they haven't. My growth has been like this. I built out $1 million book in about 7 or 8 years. That's a pretty vertical trajectory, you know what I mean? At least I think it is. But yeah, so Greg's book is up there. Jeff's is not as big as mine, but it's taken him 15 years to build it. A long time. I mean, it's just been kind of that slow growth. But the Wedge has helped me get that dynamic growth, right? And again, get me to understand that, when you're working at all these nickel and dime accounts, yes, when you're new, you're thinking everything you can get is good, right? And I guess it might be. And I guess it does give you experience at working on accounts, right? I mean, that's always helpful, because there's a lot to learn there. But that was really one of the big things that I learned from you guys is, you know what? I mean, stop with all the foo-foo accounts. They're just a waste of your time, But at the same time, I like accounts that are about 200 grand. You know why? Because when you lose them, they don't hurt as bad. I would almost rather have, I've got my share of $1 million business accounts, right? But I would almost rather have 5 $200,000 accounts than $1 million account, because I can lose that and go, oh, okay, that's fine. I can, replace that. But because I've lost a couple of those big accounts, like with business sales in the last couple of years. So, and they hurt, man. But again, if you are always working, planning, learning, the new business comes. So,
and are you guys running, what I refer to as the crisp sales meeting on any sort of basis?
No, we don't. But we have sales meetings every week. And I don't run that stuff. And I don't want to get into running that stuff. I'm a sales guy, and that's what I'm going to keep being. I'm not a president of a company I do own part of the agency, but that's not my thing,
No, I understand. We ought to find somebody who it is their thing, because it turns a lot of money.
And this Rustin Grant guy, it could be his thing. You know what I mean? He's a younger guy. He's got time, I'm busy with a lot of stuff. I'm really focused on just, selfishly my book, it's kind of what's going on. So I think, Rustin could be that guy in the future. I don't know. I got a lot of hopes for this guy. I think that you'll find him, he's a funny guy, but I think you'll find him engaging and entertaining, and he's sharp, man. And he's got the tenacity to do what it takes in this business, I believe.
So what's your aspirations for where you think your book will be, say, 2, 3, 4 years from now? Are you?
I'd love to take it to 2 million. That's and what I'm doing is I'm writing different types of business now than I was 3 years ago. I'm writing a lot of captive stuff, which is very lucrative. I'm writing more high deductible business. I'm always focused on distressed XMod stuff, but really learning and acquiring the skills to successfully partner with a CFO or a business owner and a captive creates extreme value for you as a broker. And it's a heady space where there's a lot to know. But if you can confidently connect with a business owner that's doing at least 400 plus in premium on their auto, general liability, and comp, it's a quite a long runway to rock one of these programs. But I've got several of them in the work. It landed, and I've got 3 more right now in the works that are very good size. And the beautiful thing about it is when you get somebody in a captive, you don't really fear B of R's. It's a long-term commitment. I mean, it's at least a 5-year space, Randy, because at the end of year 3 in a small group captive, which is what we sell, that's when you're going to start seeing returns on your losses, right? So I'm really focused a lot on that because again, I think it's something that could take me to the next level. Yeah, so I'm doing a lot of that, and it's really fun. And the great thing about it is these captives are domiciled in the Cayman Islands and St. Thomas and places like that. So like in 3 weeks, I'll be down at a meeting in the Caymans. Last year I was at one in St. Thomas. There's another one, I think in Cabo. So, you get to you're working when you're down there, but it's kind of cool being able to go somewhere like that and actually be paid to do it.
Yeah, it is. That's a fun thing.
Yeah. So that's kind of where I'm focused on. I mean, I'm going to be 60 in May, and I don't have any plans on stopping working. I just don't. I mean, and I'm in a situation now where in 5 years, all my assets will be paid off and I don't have to work, but I got no intention of not working. I love putting in a good work week, and I usually surf a little bit during the week if I can, and then I'm here. Like Thursday night, I'll come out here and I'll work, and I'm here, and it's like I'm here for 3 days, and I've had a vacation. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go back to work. So
Yeah.
that's kind of my plan is I want to keep learning about this business. I want to remain a voracious student of this business, and I want to keep growing it. And I love chasing it.
Yeah. Well, when you love it, it's fun and it's good. And it's a blessing to feel that way, isn't it?
Yeah, and this is a hard business, but it's like anything else. I mean, the more you work at it and the more you know about it, and if you can know more than the other guy, the more helpful you're going to be able to be. And again, to talk about the wedge, which is what we're talking about today. I mean, the more knowledge you can have on every level of this business, which there are many, the more wedges you can create with other brokers, or you can create wedges with business income, with property, with all types of forms of business, right? If you know how to look at things. And we just took a big B of R several months ago on a traveler's package from another broker that had it for 15 years. And I just happened to be writing the comp in a program, and I always say, hey, just let me look at the property for you. I mean, these guys had business income it was a few $100,000 when it should have been 2.5 million. I mean, when's the last time you did a worksheet, right? Your building is 20,000 square feet. You've got it insured at $5 million. Should be more closer to 10, right? Because what are you going to do? And the question is, so if when you go to sleep at night tonight and your head hits the pillow, can you tell me for certain that if you get called out of bed with a 3-alarm fire that you're going to collect everything to replace your building? Answer yes or no. And if they say, I don't know, let me tell you the answer on that is no, right? And a quick story. So I took over this big laundry account in a B of R before I met you. It was about $700,000 in comp premium. And they'd had the same broker for 15 years. And I went down and talked to them what I talk about. They're like, well, nobody talks about what you're talking about. Well, these are Japanese people, right? They're very fiercely loyal, right? And so when I said, hey, let me look at your farmer's form of property you got, and let me have a look at it. And they did reluctantly. The husband was cool, but the wife reluctantly allowed me to do that. So when I looked at it, I mean, I don't remember it. I think their business income was $500,000 when it should have been like 8 or 9 million, right? And the buildings were underinsured by 50%. This is all with a farmer's guy, right? And nothing against farmers guys. They're great for personal lines, but this guy was clearly over his skis, right? Because he didn't understand the client's business. He didn't understand what they had, and he didn't understand how to insure it, right? So long story short is that I went in there, retooled all the coverages, had about $20 million in business income and building, and they reluctantly moved it from farmers, and I can tell you the date of this. It was in October of 2017. The week before Thanksgiving, November of 2017, I got a phone call from this owner at 4 o'clock in the morning, and he said, Steve, my building's burning. And I said, I'll come right down. I'm sure you called the fire, right? So I went down there, and half the building had burned up. And the wife, who would not give me the time of day, when I'd answer the phone, she'd just say, oh, well, okay, here's so-and-so, right? I put my arm around her, I said, Debbie, here's the good thing. We've got $21 million to rebuild. Now, I'm not that big of a jerk where I said with farmers, you would have been selling your property to University of Southern California, because that's what they would have been doing. SC's right up the street. They would have bought that corner lot and put condos on it. And they would have made money, right? But that's where that would have gone. So I said, Debbie, so what I need you to do is go inside and start calling your competitors and ask who can start picking up your laundry and doing the work right now while we rebuild. So the next day, from this distant, hardened woman, I get a fruit basket at my office. And every time I go in there to this day, she throws her arms around me and hugs me. And that's the kind of stuff that if you're applying the wedge, if you're a student of the business, if you get to understand every dynamic of this business, you can look at things and be helpful and win business and get respect.
I mean, tell me your opinion on this. To say there's a lot of lazy agents out there, they're either lazy or incompetent, but there's a lot of businesses that are poorly written, not taken care of. The services are not really being done.
Oh, it's rampant. I mean, I'll tell you, I would venture to guess, honestly, Randy, 5 out of 10 insureds, at any level. And I don't mean to disparage my fellow human beings, but yes, people in this business, they write the business and they think they're done. 90 days before the renewal, I'm calling you to get your updated payroll on the comp. And I'm going to go out and get quotes for you. And oh yeah, by the way, your mod went up this year, but don't worry about it. Even though I don't know it's right, I'm gonna market the shit out of this thing, and it's gonna be okay, right? Trust me. Been with you for 20 years. Like you talk about. Hey, I've all the things I've done for you, and when I come along, or one of the guys does, right? So, yes, it's and with the property, it's like, hey, I've written your property, and when you talk to insurance people, well, I have insurance. Well, yes, you do, but again, my question is always, are you certain that you know exactly how that insurance is going to perform when you have a fire? Because I've been through 3 big fires, right? And what fires do to insured psyche, it just twists them all around, right? It just throws them into a tailspin. And when they got to find out, it hasn't happened to me yet, but when they got to find out from any agent, how would you like to be the guy delivering the news that, oh, by the way, you can't rebuild because I didn't insure your property enough? I mean, can you imagine? I mean, forget about the legal consequences, right? What about just having to endure that as a person? To know that you failed, that you were being paid, right? And, so yes, and a lot of times when I talk to people with a high X mod, and I'll give this away to people. I don't usually give this away, but this is a term I use a lot. I say, so Randy, you're an employer, right? Yes. And you pay people out in the shop, what, 15, 20 bucks an hour? Yes, I do. So if I'm working for you out in the shop and you give me a raise to 30 bucks an hour from 15, I'm doing some pretty good stuff, right? I mean, I'm really I'm a special guy, right? So now that your mod's gone from 100 to 200 and your broker's got, he's doubled his commissions, tell me about the additional services and all the hard work that he or she's doing for you. And that pisses people off, right? I mean, so that's something that I just came up with that I use all the time. It's very effective.
Well, what you've demonstrated, and I don't know who else going to watch this, but we're going to produce it, put it on YouTube. That's why we're doing these things. But man, if you're a young dude or dudette, and you're in some job that I guess is okay, but it doesn't have a lot of meaning for you. And so you look for a place where you can really make a contribution to business owners and things like that, and along the way make a lot of money and have a lot of freedom. And there's just so many positive ands about being a commercial insurance broker.
I always hammer it. If you educate, if you work hard, if you put the time in, it just gets better for you. Because again, a lot of this business is handling problems, and when people come to you with problems, you got to know what the answers are, right? And that's the other thing is, like you talked about a lot of these agents who are underserving clients, again, which there are many. As a matter of fact, I went out and saw a prospect who had an April renewal, and I didn't get the business. But I ran through and I found X-mod revisions, I found a lot of problems, and I found a claim where it was a work comp claim, but it was an auto accident. And I asked her, so were you at fault or was it was somebody else? I said, why hasn't the broker subrogated? Well, she told me you couldn't subrogate because the claim was closed. I'm like, oh my God, you got to be kidding me. There's like 300 grand sitting there. So it's stuff like that, right? And, for whatever reason, they got busy, and that the CFO wanted to meet with me, but he wanted me to email him everything, right? And I don't do that.
Right.
If you got time to read my email and try to suss through the stuff that I'm going to teach you when I meet with you, then you have time. If you don't have time, what I think you're going to do with that is go give it to your other broker. But I'm not going to sign up for that, right? And so I didn't get the business. But again, I was just absolutely blown away that, again, so what happens is a lot of times these brokers give an insured answers and they don't know, they're none the wiser. So they give them a stupid, shitty answer, and you know what? It flies. Like with a lot of claims, well, it's just the way it is. And I mean, again, it amazes me the lies and the things that, and I tell this to guys all the time. It amazes me the things that people, our competitors, get away with and retain business. It's mind blowing, you know. And again, you even said it yourself, at the Wedge, and you'll say it again. You're not going. This is not going to work every time. And even what I do, even when I've got concrete evidence, like, hey, you need to move everything, right? And we walk down, and we do the vision box, and we do all that, right? It doesn't always fly. They don't always wave the white flag, brother. You know what I mean? But again, I mean, the learning experience, when you see what's going on out there, it should give you a lot of motivation to continue to look, right? Because it's out there.
A lot of incompetence, a lot of opportunity, a lot of ways to make money, a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's just there's a lot of laziness in this business. I mean, and again, you know what, you can go out right business in this business. You can sit on your behind and you can get paid.
Yeah.
Okay, you can make $100,000 a year, but if you want to get up into the higher levels, I mean, people expect a lot more of you, right?
Indeed.
And when you can meet with people and learn how to set expectations from there, and they look at the other guy, again, Wedge, right? They go, he's not doing any of that. He's never done any of that. And a lot of times when I go and I talk to people about certain things that I talk about, they fact check me with the broker. And the broker will say, I don't even know what that means, honestly.
That's cool, man. Well, Mr. Carter, I so appreciate you taking some time to spend with me today.
Hey, man, for you, anything, anytime, buddy.
All right. Have a great weekend. Have some fun playing golf. Best year, buddy. And we'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, thanks, buddy. Hang
Right,
loose.
bye-bye.
Take care, Randy. Bye-bye.